Guild Wars 2 is an amazing game. Especially for veterans, I think it is very fun to play. But for new players, there are some issues, and I can tell you now what those issues are, because I actually started from scratch and played from a new account up to level 80, and of course also getting some gear after that. If you want to see a full journey, be sure to check out the description with all my VODs of the live streams, or watch my playlist down below with all the edited and most important sections of this journey. The journey is not over yet, so it's still ongoing. Be sure to check out my live streams if you want to see them live, but I can give you my impressions of what new players experience and what is actually not that good in Guild Wars 2, and ArenaNet should definitely improve on that. So as always, special shout out to all my dear supporters that make this possible. And without much further ado, let's now jump straight in. I have 3 important points. I will start with the first one here. The first one being Guild Wars 2 needs some big tutorials. Yeah, I think Guild Wars 2 has some tutorials in the new starting areas, and that's good. But I think it needs more tutorials, especially after you reach level 80. I think the game is a sandbox game to some extent, and it doesn't teach you that, and it doesn't teach you, and that's the important part here, where to go. You know, I think that you could go in so many different ways. You could try out World vs. World, PvP, Fractals. You could try out raids, strike missions, yeah, dungeons farming, open world farming, all that stuff, whatever you want to do. There's so much. It's just a small selection that I mentioned here. But the game doesn't tell you, go there, try this, go there, try that. I think that should be some kind of like adventure guide, yeah? Like we have that for leveling up, and that kind of gives some experience for, I don't know, open the bank, killing some enemies, completing some quests. That is already in game. It's a really good tutorial. But it could be even better if it would be extended to level 80 activities, so that every new player at least gets the chance of trying out fractals, like with the quick play, or trying out dungeons, the explorable paths, or trying out some kind of meta events, trying out some PvP even, World vs. World even. So that they see at least each part of the game once, so they can at least say, yeah, I tried that, it's not for me. Yes, I tried it and it's amazing, I will stick to that. Because a lot of players at level 80 don't know what to do. Should I get some more gear? Should I go for masteries? Whatever. That might be something that they actually understand, but they don't know where to get this, how to get into strike missions, how to get into raids, all that stuff they don't know. And I think that's very important that the game tells you, not the community. Yes, of course, it's better if the community also tells you that, but the game itself should also tell you that. So I think that's one of the first criticisms that I encountered. Of course, I knew where to go, but I did not see anything that pointed me towards that. So I know it, but the new player might not know that, probably will not know that. So I think that is a very, very important criticism. Let me know your criticisms of the game in terms of new player experience down in the comments down below. I would be really interested. So if you're a new player, let me know your takes on that as well. But now let's talk about the second topic. Another thing that I encountered, obviously, is that you start from scratch if you're a new player. I, on my main account, have amazing opportunities. I have almost everything in the game. But as soon as I start from scratch, I knew there is something missing. I knew that. But the important part is, even with knowing that, I forgot what kind of quality of life improvements I actually had. And that's the second point here. The Guild Wars 2 has a lot of amazing quality of life improvements that a veteran account will already have and take for granted. That's the important part. They take that for granted. And as a new player, you don't have that, and that means that you encounter the game as way more annoying to play as a veteran. I think it is cool that you can unlock some more new stuff like a sky scale, like all that, like some special mounts and stuff that are just, I wouldn't say game breaking, but they change the game in a very different direction, and a new player just doesn't experience the game like that yet. I think that is to some extent okay that you don't have that from the beginning. I think that is fair. But for example, what I noticed, I was like losing half of my loot in the beginning because I just didn't remember to press F all the time for the auto looting. That was missing. So stuff like that is insane to me, that is not in the base game, that you have to get some mastery first, and it's not like something where you get like one mastery point and then you have it, for example like gliding. No, it takes like ages to farm. So it's really something that I would say they should focus on, that the new player experience is not annoying. I think there is a middle ground where you can say a new thing that you add to the game that is incentivizing you to farm a little bit can be really good without being completely annoying without having it. I think there is some kind of middle ground there. And I think auto loot should be baseline, for example, one of the things. But other things can be as mastery. Don't get me wrong here. I'm just saying some things should be baseline for a new player so that they don't have the annoyance of pressing F all the time and missing like half of the loot. At least I did, because I was just so like in my mind to always get the loot automatically. So that's a very important point here as well. And staying with this point to some extent, because it's quite close to be honest, is that a lot of things I noticed are locked behind expansions. That is okay, in my opinion. They of course want to sell expansions. Just some examples, elite specs are locked behind expansions. You need to get, for example, Soto if you want to get the expanded weapon proficiency, or if you want to get the weapon mastery training. That kind of stuff is locked behind the expansion. I think that is fair. I'm not joking. This is completely fair. They want to sell the expansion. What I don't think is that good are two things. First of all, I think that is quite bad that if you sell an expansion, and the selling point, or at least the selling feature of this expansion is, for example, the weapon proficiency, or is, for example, the sky scale, then it is not very good, in my opinion, if you don't get the weapons, for example, directly in the beginning, or the elite specs. I think one of the worst things to make the new player experience is going to a new map, a new part of the game, and the only thing that they actually want is this new feature. But they are locked behind 5 hours of story or farming masteries for 10 hours to get to the specific part where you then finally can use this new feature. Why not give this new feature for free when you buy the expansion? You can use it then, you get the elite spec, you get the weapon, whatever you want. For example, on Chronomancer, get the rival instantly and can play heal Chronomancer. In the new maps, in the new content. And make something on top of that, make some kind of achievement, some kind of mastery, whatever, so that people can still go for the new content, but enjoy the new content way more because they have something new to try out and not play with the stuff that they played for hours already beforehand and then unlocking it after they are completely done with the story or something. That is, in my opinion, the wrong way. They really should put it more front-loaded. That is, in my opinion, something that is way more important and should be done. The sky scale in Soto is actually quite well done in that regard, but the weapons and the elite specs sometimes can be quite annoying to get for a new player. And that's definitely noticeable, at least for me as a veteran, to get to this point. And another thing that comes up here that is very specific, but I think that is very a good thing to do. I think fishing is such a base feature in a lot of MMOs, and it's locked behind the End of Dragons expansion. And I think that might be a really hot take, but I think fishing should be a baseline feature. You should be able to play the game without having End of Dragons and still be able to fish. I think fishing is such a easy and nice gold farm to recommend for new players. And yes, it should not be the most lucrative without having all the masteries and stuff. But I think personally, fishing as a core feature for gold farming would be so much more easy to recommend to new player and say, yes, you can do fishing if you want to. But now it says, yeah, you can only get to fishing if you have End of Dragons. I think some kind of those gold farming features locked behind expansions is not good, because this is such a core feature in a lot of other MMOs. I think that would be really good for me as a fishing enjoyer, at least. By the way, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe. But now let's talk about my last and very important point here is Fractals. So Guild Wars 2 Fractals are amazing. I play them a lot, I like them a lot, especially quick play feature is amazing. Be sure to check out my video about the quick play. I think it's amazing and I really like it a lot. Now here comes the point that I don't like. The agony resistance stuff is already somewhat convoluted and somewhat hard to understand maybe for a new player, how to infuse your rings and that kind of stuff to get the agony resistance. But one thing that is horrible, absolutely horrible, is the LFG for Fractals. So you have this 4 tiers, tier 1 to tier 4, makes sense, but they are locked behind your Fractal level. You will unlock the Fractal of the Mist category in LFG at level 80, and you will instantly get access to Fractal tier 1. Makes sense, you start out there. But if you want to go higher Fractal tiers and you want to get it done even if you have already the agony resistance, you cannot get into the specific category because it's hidden, it's so to say locked out for you if you are not 5 levels below the specific category. So if you want to go into tier 2 and you are Fractal level 19, you cannot post and advertise your group there. You need someone else to put it there and you can join the group. It's really weird and it's really bad, because I think if you already have 100 agony resistance, but you're not yet the Fractal level of getting there in the next category, you are still not able to look for new party members. Or that is, in my opinion, not something that we need. We need something more that you say, some kind of pop-up, you don't have enough agony to post in this, or some kind of pop-up where it says, you are not the Fractal level yet, do you want to continue anyway? So that is because the Fractal level itself doesn't give you any more experience. It's if you have enough agony, you should be able to post stuff there, but not if you have not the necessary Fractal level. For me as a veteran player, that instantly get a lot of agony in the beginning because I know how to get that stuff, and I still cannot able to post stuff in tier 2 because it gives more rewards. It's very annoying. It's very, very annoying. I think that should be changed. I think that is just straight up a bad feature, and is not incentivizing players to actually understand Fractals. It's just locking them out of higher content. I think that's not good. So that is my main criticism about this LFG. But like I said, let me know your takes on this in the comments down below. I really enjoyed making this video because I wanted to make one thing clear. Guild Wars 2 is an amazing game, but I think we need more new players in the game, and I think improving the new player experience is something that is amazing to do. And I tried to make content about this, so I think ArenaNet putting in some effort and some tutorials and stuff, what I mentioned here, would be even better. So thanks a lot for watching. Thanks again to all my supporters. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. And I hope to see you all in the next video.